Hello students, welcome back to your history class. So we finished with the question 1. Today we will do question numbers 2, 3 and 4. Okay, I hope your notebooks and pens are ready. Question number 2 is you have to trace the main changes in the European under the European society. We had finished all these. We were here. I'm so sorry. We'll do the question numbers 2, 3 and 4. The second question is narrate the different merits of feudalism. So over here we will discuss the merits. Question number 3 is demerits, and then question number 4 is the causes that led to the decline of feudalism. We will be doing these 3 questions today. Okay. So in question number 1 we are talking about the merits of feudalism. And the merits of feudalism would be the following. First is the maintenance of law and order. It helped in maintaining the law and order. Second one was encouragement to bravery and chivalry. Third point would be the improvement in administration. Okay. The first point is maintenance of law and order. So basically, when the invasions of the barbaric types created lots of chaos and confusion, feudalism brought in a lot of peace and order, even though feudalism is not a perfect system of government, but it still helped in establishing peace and order, and that was the most important need of that hour. Second point is encouragement to bravery and chivalry. Now, feudal lords, they took keen interest in the military organization and they highly prized the personal bravery and skill. So because the feudal lords gave lots and lots of importance to these things, because the feudal lords gave lots of importance to bravery and chivalry, the knights, honored or improved their skills a lot, and so the feudalism encouraged bravery and chivalry. Next, it helped in improvement of administration. Now, feudal lords, they took lots of interest in the maintenance of law and order. So, they also wanted to improve the administration of laws in their particular estates. So, feudalism also provided a platform where feudal lords could impose laws and orders and improve them. So, feudalism improved the methods of administration, justice, and defense. All 3. Okay. Fourth point will be it helped in development of morality. Now, the lords and the vassals, they were very keen to keep up their mutual contract that they had between each other. And so it developed lots and lots of high regards for truth, honesty, and promise. And so lots of customs of knighthood were created and it also helped in increasing the respect for women. So feudalism helped in the development of some morality in the society. The fifth point is it checked the autocracy of kings. Checked the autocracy of kings. Now, fifth point is to check the autocracy of kings. Now, both the kings and lords, they were equally bound by the contract. So at the same time, the powers of the kings were divided amongst the feudal lords. And so in this way, the feudalism, it checked or keep a check on the autocratic and the arbitrary tendencies of the kings. King John of England had to sign the Magna Carta under the pressure of nobles. So what happened is it even made sure that the king was not abusing his powers because the kings and the nobles, they had a contract amongst them and they both had to honor it. Sixth would be the development of agriculture, trade and industry. Okay. Uh, in order to improve their economic conditions, the lords, they had to pay special attention to improve their agriculture. So they constructed roads, they encouraged the trade and commerce industry. They also started to build beautiful and strong forts for the protection of their subjects. So in this way, the feudal system helped in the development of agriculture, trade and industry. Seventh point is lessons of citizenship. So in the pyramidal system of feudalism, everyone was bound by a contract. So the people learned good lessons of citizenship, their rights and duties, and they learned that rights and duties are interrelated and that rights are earned only by performing duties. So they learned the interdependence of rights and duties and how to be good citizens and what is citizenship. Eighth point would be meeting the demands of the kings. Now, during this age, the kings were unable to collect taxes and they could not maintain a large and permanent army. That was the main reason why feudal system came into being. So feudalism helped the rulers in meeting these demands in respect of army and money. So feudalism helped the king meet the demands of army and money because the king was the owner, was considered the owner of the land. So he gave land in return of army and money. Okay, ninth point would be development of Roman and Gothic styles of architecture. So I'm just going to write, okay. So the buildings of this period, they had thick walls, they had massive pillars, and they had square doors. They had small windows, so they could protect the people from the enemies. So this led to the development of Roman and Gothic style of architecture, and the massivity and the ornamentation, these were the chief features of this architecture style. So this is how the Roman and Gothic architecture came into being. The last point for this question would be development of literature. Okay. So it was necessary to infuse new spirit, life, and enthusiasm in the people. so as to enable them to face the barbaric tribes. So many poems and stories of bravery, folklore, and romance were written. The Chanson de Ronald is an epic of chivalry. So feudalism led to the development of literature. Finally, you have to give a conclusion at the end of this question. So you will say that feudalism thus formed the basis of life in the European society in the Middle Ages. It helped the people of the Middle Ages to solve their political, social, and economic problems. In this context, Professor A.F. Hartersley observes that, in short, it functioned well as a military measure to organize local defense, economically to safeguard cultivation of the soil, and politically to provide machinery for the local administration of justice. In all your answers, you should try and put at least one quote by someone. You should always have an introduction to the answer. So if for this answer, you can first introduce feudalism, saying that what is feudalism, okay, and then go on to speak about its merits. This is a basic way of how you normally do. So you can say the new social and economic system that arose in the European countries in the Middle Ages is known as feudalism. This feudalist society had a few merits, and then you can give these. And at the end, now if you see in your examination, your long answers are not, I have not kept them as 500 words. I have kept them as 250 to 350 words or something like that. So maximum 400 words, but you must remember how many marks is the question for. If it's a 5-mark question, you must ensure to write 5 points. If it's an 8-mark question, you must write an 8 points, because that makes it easier for the teacher to check and also easier for you to score. Okay, so keep this little trick in mind. Okay, the next question that we had was demerits. The next question that we had was the demerits. So that is question number 3, that is describe the demerits of feudalism. So in demerits of feudalism, again, you will introduce feudalism, then you start with demerits. So the first demerit was, it was a blow to the national unity. It was a blow to the national unity. The country was divided into small fiefs, that is small lands, that were held by the feudal lords. And these feudal lords were selfish and they care more for their own interest, and they ignored the interest of the country as a whole. So feudalism gave a major blow to the national unity. So in just two lines, you have to explain these points. You don't have to go and write paragraphs on them. Second point was, it was the weakness of the central government. Now, the central government became very weak, and the feudal lords were given all the powers and they became supreme. Their vassals ignored the order of the king, and the king was wholly dependent on the feudal lords for both military help as well as money. So sometimes they asserted their independence and the king could not control them. Of course, it was a weakness of the central government, because otherwise the system wouldn't come only. If the king was strong, the king had a military, the king had the money, then he would not be distributing his land. So it marks as a weakness of the central government. Third point would be encouragement to rebellions and wars. Encouragement to rebellions and wars. Now what happened is, the feudalism, it encouraged rebellions and wars, because the power of lords was increasing by the day and the king was becoming weaker and weaker. So this encouraged the rebellious tendencies amongst the nobles. And the nobles were very eager to get more land than they already had, but they wanted more. So they were constantly amongst warfare, they were constantly fighting amongst themselves only. And this destroyed the peace and security, and it created chaos and confusion in the society. Fourth point is defective military organization. Now, feudalism, it was responsible for the defective military organization. Every lord organized his army in his own way, and their weapons and methods of fighting also differed from lord to lord. As a result, the armies could not cooperate amongst themselves even in the times of national crisis. So every lord would give different kinds of weapons or different types of training to their knights. And these knights, when they had to fight for the nation, everyone came with different skill sets and they could not cooperate and coordinate amongst themselves. So feudalism led to a defective military organization. Fifth point would be maladministration of justice. Now, feudalism, it led to the maladministration of justice because every lord had his own court and he had his own laws to decide the cases. The punishment for the same crime varied from estate to estate. This very fact created lots of confusion in the administration of justice. So where one person would probably beat someone for robbery, the other person would hang, the third person would cut the hands. So there was no common law and order, it depended from lord to lord. So this created lots of confusion in the society and it led to maladministration of justice. Sixth is the gulf between the nobles and the serfs. Now, feudalism created a deep gulf. That means lots of space, tension between the nobles and the serfs, and it proved to become an obstruction in the development of democracy. They lived in palatial buildings and they led luxurious lives at the cost of people. On the other hand, the serfs had to suffer many social and economic disabilities and they led very poor and rich and miserable life. So they could not reap the fruits of their own labor. They used to work so hard on their lands, but they used to not reap the fruits of their own labor. They were completely at the mercy of their cruel and immortal masters. So it increased the gulf or the distance between nobles and the serfs, hampering the progress of individual and society. Hampering the process. Now, feudalism, it hampered the progress of the individual and the society because the feudal lords, they cared little for the improvement of the common masses. They and their hunting dogs spoiled the crops while hunting. So the feudal lords, they did not care for for the improvement of the masses, and when they would go hunting, even if they would go in the land of the serfs, they would spoil the entire serfs agriculture, their crops. So crops were also destroyed during wars also. So all these factors affected the economic prosperity of the people, and this hampered the progress of individuals and in turn the society. Not progress firstly, and secondly individual and society. Eighth point, which is the last point for this question, would be that it proved harmful to art, literature and craft. So feudalism, it proved harmful for the development of art, literature and craft. Lords and the knights, they were attached, they gave so much importance to fighting and warlike activities that they could not pay attention, or they did not give any attention to literacy activities and cultural development. And so art, literature and craft could not grow in a feudal society. Although it started, but it could not grow. Architecture grew, but art, literature and craft could not grow in a feudal society. So all these were the demerits of the feudal system. Should always sum up, if not with a paragraph, then with one line. Okay, so this is question number 3. Now we go to question number 4, which is the what was the reasons, or what circumstances led to the decline of feudalism. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the causes of decline or fall of feudalism. Now, feudalism, it flourished in Europe from the 8th century to 12th century AD. It, however, began to decline in the 15th century. So, following are the causes that led to its downfall. Number 1 is rise of the powerful kingdoms. So so powerful monarchies, they rose in France, Spain, England, etc. In the 15th centuries, they came to power. They started to increase. They became powerful. So the rise of these powerful monarchies led to the decline of feudalism. So like Tudor monarchs, they devised different methods to crush the power of feudal lords. Second point would be the destruction of feudal lords in different wars. Destruction of feudal lords in different wars. Now, many nobles, they died in mutual and constant warfare. So many nobles died because of the constant warfare. Like I told you, they wanted to increase their fiefs. So they had lots of warfare amongst the nobles, and lots of nobles died in the mutual and constant warfare. Crusades, Hundred Years' War, War of Roses, all these are examples of the wars that took place, and many nobles died in these. So those who survived were so much impoverished that they had no power and they had no means to face the strong monarchs. So ultimately, it led to the destruction of feudal system. Third point is the rise of nationalism. So now the rapid spread of education aroused the spirit of nationalism. The feudal lords were selfish to the core, and they opposed nationalism very strongly. As a result, the educated people, they turned against feudalism and they could not tolerate its existence. So now they sided with their rulers and not with the lords. And as a result, rulers like Elizabeth became all powerful, despotic, and they took part in parties and picnics. So basically, what happens, the idea of nationalism came into existence because of the educated people, and the nobles were completely against it. But the educated people, the people who were educated, they turned against feudalism as well, and they could not tolerate their existence. So as a result, some people sided with the rulers and not with the lords. Fourth point is rise of towns and cities. Now, The rise of towns and cities also proved fatal to feudalism. Owing to the progress of trade and industries, the townsmen grew rich. They greatly encouraged and helped the serfs to win their freedom from the lords. Thus, the old structure of feudalism began to collapse with a rapid speed. It started to fall because the new towns and cities came into existence. Okay, and the progress of trade and industry in the townsmen made the people rich, and this helped the serfs to win their freedom from the lords. And so the structure of feudalism began to collapse because the serfs became less and nobles did not, or the knights did not work in their own field, so there was nobody to work, so automatically the system crashed. Another point was, which we have discussed quite a lot in the last time, in the last yesterday's class, was the rise of middle class. So the new inventions that happened encouraged the trade and industry, and this led to the rise of middle class in the towns and cities. The middle class wanted peace for the promotion of commerce, industry, and crafts. They wanted to get rid of the nobles who were always engaged in constant warfare. The middle class gave solid support to the kings to weaken the forces of feudalism. So this is how, like we spoke in nationalism, that they started to side with the rulers. And another reason they wanted to side with the rulers is because they wanted peace. They wanted to live in peace so that their commerce, industry, and crafts could be promoted. So they sided with the kings. They gave support to the kings, and they gave support to the kings so that the force of feudalism would weaken. This was very important discovery, the invention of gunpowder. Now, gunpowder was invented in the 15th century. The king alone had the monopoly of the gunpowder. So this invention brought about a great change in the method of warfare. The feudal armies, armed with lances and spears, could not stand in the face of the firearms of the royal forces. And with the help of gunpowder, the king started to shatter the forts of the nobles, which were considered as the centers of their power. It has been rightly remarked that the lesson was a little later driven home with increased definiteness by the use of gunpowder in the warfare and by the development of trained armies equipped with firearms. When proud and famous knights could be easily destroyed from far away by musket balls discharged by the meanest of serfs, the old feudal power was irrevocably doomed. So what happened is king had the monopoly of gunpowder, and and the nobles and the knights, their armies fought with spears. Okay, spears and lances. So of course they could not stand up influence, they could not defend the gunpowder, so automatically feudal system came to an end because now the king could kill so many knights from a distance. He could destroy their forts, and these forts used to be considered as the power of that noble or that knight, so it helped in destroying the feudal system. Seventh point would be influence of the church. Now, the church was a very powerful institution of the Middle Ages. It had great influence not only on the common people but also on the feudal lords. Church had a lot of influence on them. The church used to issue a decree which was known as Truce of God, and this forbade fighting on all holidays, on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays of every week. So they had such a long weekend. So again, it was decreed that peasants, traders, and women were not to be molested during warfare. So not only this, the church also curbed the cruelty of the lords in many other ways. So because the church put so many restrictions, automatically the feudal system came to an end. because you could not fight on certain days, you could not do mean things, and they also brought about a lot of change in the cruelty of the lords. Eighth point would be maintenance of standing army. So the king realized the importance of having an army, of maintaining a standing army, instead of depending on the nobles who were very oppressive. So they were hated by the middle class and the common masses, who? The nobles. So the people helped the kings to raise standing armies, and the progress of trade, commerce, and industries increased the income of the king. So they were no longer dependent on the nobles. The king was now not dependent on the nobles. He had his own standing army. And the standing army was very faithful to the king, and it helped him in curbing the power of the lords to a great extent. So because the king now had military of his own, his dependence on the nobles was very less. And how did he get that army of his own? Is because people started to hate the nobles and the lords. So they wanted to help the king. So they sided with the king, and they made an army with the king, and they made a very strong army with the king. They were very faithful to the king. So automatically the feudal system came to an end. And why did the king was okay with this? Because the nobles had become very oppressive on the king also. Ninth point would be very important point: development of democracy. So the development of democracy and the principles of liberty and equality, it led to the foundation of parliaments in many countries. And the voice of people now began to carry weight, and slowly many restrictions were placed on the feudal lords. For example, in England, King Henry VII, he devised many means to destroy the power of the barons. Okay, by the Statute of Liberty and Maintenance, he forbade them to raise any armies, to not. So he even took away the power of the nobles having their own armies. So all these were the. So you have to sum up at the end. So these were all the points which led to the downfall of the feudalism. Okay, so you have to sum up this. Okay, so with this, I'm going to end today's class. I know it's been a little long. Nowadays, our class will be a little long because we are doing question and answers this chapter, and after that, we're going to be doing lots of revision of all the 4 chapters, and prepping you up for your examination. Okay, so with this, I end today's class. For your map work, keep a political map of world ready with you all. We will do map work one day. So just start finding a political map of the world. So with this, I end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you.